Hey everyone, it's Sonia here. How are you? This is take two, really, if you can believe it. I recorded like 45 minutes worth of an episode and I kept on getting a message saying to check my audio and then they could hear the other respondents and no, none of my voice was captured on the first recording. So here we go again. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Sonia here with Fresh Approach Wellness. And thank you so much for catching this, whether it's via audio or through the video component, which is going to be posted on YouTube. And, you'll notice there's a little bit of shifts with my programming. And it was just a way of inviting more people to the table to inspire you to live your best life. You see, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And sometimes when we hear the same messages over and over again, but we're hearing them in a different delivery, in a different context, we absorb it completely differently. So I'm going to start by sharing that this is episode, oh, what was it? I actually think it's episode 150. And I'm stoked because I moving forward, you're going to see two episodes from me, one episode from a guest, two episodes from me, one episode from a guest. And so why this is so exciting is the information is going to be varied. If the information is still showing up to provide a lot of value and content to you in the terms of living your best life. And we're going to start off with a bit of an explanation as to what happened to Sonia. And then we're going to talk about the elephant program and the elephant analogy before we pop into today's message. So just to bring you up to speed, the date stamp for today is June 17th, 2023. A month ago, I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a week. It turns out that I have inflamed nerves in two spots in my head. So the left side of my face was all swelled up and the back of my head was pretty bad. And this brings today's message to that much more importance and clarity. See, I'm not through going through my mountain right now. There's been a few more things thrown at me in the process and a few more stressors, and that all has an impact on your health. And right now, I'm very much in a healing and recovering stage. I know this. I can appreciate this. And I can appreciate that life happens for us and not to us. And so throughout this process, there's a few things that I had to lean into to adapt because, back in April, I was running a 5K, my first one in 5 years, and I was super stoked about it. And then you get to May and I go to the hospital and I come out with a cane. Like that's heavy. That's a major shift. That's a game changer. And now I have these worries and these complexities in my mind where what ifs and what that and what's going to happen when and what does everything look like and oh, right? So I'm sharing this because I'm human too. I'm sharing this because this meant a pause in my life, a pause in my delivery, a pause in everything else so I could heal, spend my time and energy literally laying there staring at the sky or listening to an audio because maybe I couldn't focus on a book. Everything shifted. And it was a great reminder to me in so many ways, not just to slow down, but am I in alignment? Would I have fallen sick if I was in alignment? What are some of the bigger messages here? And I know I'm still on my journey and I know my pathway finished it. I know my pathway isn't going to change overnight, and I need to work on making some of this happen myself and changing my story and asking myself what else is true and asking myself what I've learned from this experience. So that's pretty much where I was and where I've been. And that explains a little bit why some of my podcasts haven't been quite up to date yet. The number sequences are still going to be there. There's just going to be a little of a pause in some of the weeks if you've been continuing up to date bit by bit. And that's why I thought it was super important to share this one live, to share this one in an video content and not just the audio content. Um, we're all human and we all have moments, but at the end of the day, we get to choose our attitude. And it's the tools that we keep in our toolbox that help us go through. So you're going to hear me refer to this as the switch list a little bit, and we're going to talk about what some of those things are. But the human toolbox is complex, and there are so many different levels that I want to break it down to you what's included in the human toolbox and the different layers that you need to tap into. And even for those of you that know, I know things, but I can tell you my life looked completely different for the last month versus what I knew I knew. I wasn't able or capable to go for a walk, right? So that meant I really had to lean into journaling. I journaled every day till my heart's content. For the longest time, I was showering and just putting more comfy clothes on, and that's as good as I could get. And then when I started to heal a little bit better, I was able to mix up my food and nutrition and eat different foods that were fueling my body. See, part of my recovery, not only did I go see a medical doctor, but I also went to a naturopathic doctor, and she put me on tinctures and different remedies and different strategies and different food, and did some testing to see what I'm allergic to and what's going to help me heal. And knowing this is a game changer. It's probably a word you're going to hear me say a little bit more. And it's kind of like thinking into results, right? You know you're not going to be in this place forever. So how quickly can you pull yourself out? And if I had let a depressed mind or a frustrated mind rule me, and it would have been very easy to do with the level of medicine I was on and the unknowns, if I would have let that ruined me, it probably would have ruined me. If I had let it rule me, it probably would have ruined me. I'm going to say it one more time. If I had let that rule me, it would have ruined me. That is so important. It's the importance of my attitude that made the difference of doing some of these things I'm going to share with you today. You see, like any species, humans are programmed for survival. And we have evolved over the millions of years, and we've developed brilliantly powerful set of human tools to ensure that we stay safe and healthy and bonded and balanced. And we keep that bandwidth safe and contained, right? About balancing your bandwidth. And simply knowing more about what the human tools are and how it works is the start of the process of positive change and shifts. And once you start realizing that you can really use the human tools that you have available, you'll find that your anxiety gets reduced and your energy increases and your curiosity awakens and life begins to look a whole lot better than you've ever imagined. And that's what we're going to tap into today. You see, humans, we're sad, we're lonely, we're scared, we're worried, we're angry, right? Sometimes we think of some of these thoughts like, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, I'll never be anything. Um, I'm angry, I'm unsafe, I'm sad, I'm lonely. We feel the stress in our shoulders and our throats when we can't talk, in our chest, um, in our physical physique. And sometimes we feel so much rage, we're going to explode. And yes, I know you get it. I know you're with me here. And when we explode, whether it's even internally or we just simply feel like we're going out of our minds, that causes inflammation and it causes behavior that don't don't that doesn't serve us. Behavior like leaning into drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, food, any kind of addiction, even movement can be an addiction. Becoming a workaholic, sex, getting lost into fantasy, shopping, crime, all of these things is where we lean into typically when we're trying to take our mind off things, and those are not going to serve us. So on that note, not only did I talk about my food, the changes to my food and the changes to my lifestyle in the last 6 weeks, but you see, I also haven't had anything to drink. And, did I think it was a problem before? Absolutely not. But do I miss it now? No. Could I drink socially and have a glass of wine now? Probably. It wasn't going to serve me while I was on the medicines. It wasn't going to serve me while I was on my path to healing. Because I already had no energy, no motivation, and I wasn't full of enthusiasm because I was in survival mode. And I know we have all been there. It shows up in so many ways. For me, it showed up as a massive, massive headache. And that's what brought me to the hospital that day, was a headache like no other. I mean, I've had migraines since I was 12, and most of my migraines were probably compounded with the weather and then coupled with hormones. um, both of those things, and then maybe a cold or not feeling well. I didn't think anything different, but it was a headache that didn't go away. And when I went to the hospital on the Thursday after 12 hours and a lot of medicine, they sent me home because they couldn't figure out what it was. On the Saturday, I went back in and my blood pressure was 222 over 117. Friends, this isn't good. This isn't a safe place to be. So the hospital was wondering if my headache was causing the blood pressure to be so high or if it was the reverse. And they were treating two different ailments, where at the end of the day, it was an inflamed nerve that causes, and stress that causes my blood pressure to go up. And when that happens, my head is worse. I wasn't doing something, I wasn't in alignment with something, right? So some of the ways that our body is communicating to us is through things like a sore throat, because that's your throat chakra. IBS, I mean, that's connected to your stomach, right? Chronic aches and pains, reflexes, um, your skin, when your skin starts complaining through acne or itchiness, or headaches, those are all messages. And you need to ask yourself, what is your body trying to tell you? Remember that your body suffers when it doesn't get enough sleep, and you can become hypersensitive. So, we're going to work today on what it would look like to protect your feelings so you don't become so defensive. Because when you're defensive, you get aggressive, snappy, spiteful, bitter, rage increases, sarcasm. You get a little vicious. And this is, I'm not saying these are good things or bad things, so they're definitely not good things. Let's go there. But we don't want to be sitting here as a character, especially I don't want, you guys don't want to be hearing your Coach Sonia saying, oh my gosh, I was so vicious. I wasn't vicious. I wasn't vicious, but I was definitely a little spiteful, a little bitter. I was snappy, and I was very frustrated. My behavior had an impact. It made it so I shut down. I was dull, very secretive because I was a little bit embarrassed with what I was going through. It was heavy. And of course, it was isolating when I couldn't do much, right? These show up differently in different people. And you start to get these thoughts in your head. It is a very vicious cycle. And this vicious cycle is what we're going to talk about today when we talk about the different types of human connections that we have that are in our brain all along. So some of the human tools that we go through. So the first one I want to mention is the control tool. And this one's in your brain. And the powerful human brain controls everything that we feel, think, and do. And that's why it's called the control tool. So I'm just going to glance over some of these. We can take a deeper dive into them one-on-one if you want. You can always message me, but I really want to get to the point where we're talking a little bit more about resolution. So I want to highlight some of these, but I want to tap into some of the resolutions because that's where the switch happens. So then there's the input tools, the powerful senses, the gut, the health, your heart. So the human brain relies on good information to keep you sound, safe, and well. We can all agree on that. It receives information through your input tools, your five senses, your highly intelligent gut, and your heart. Those are the input tools. Now there's the backup tool. So this is your emotional backup system. And this is why we talked about all of those things in the background first, because not just one part of your body gets impacted when something is not in alignment. You'll notice it's a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch. Okay, So your backup tool is your emotional backup system, and feelings and emotions provide vital information for your well-being and safety. Vital information. Emotional data is so important that you have your own built-in backup device, just like a hard drive on a computer, which needs regular maintenance. You can't overload it. What happens when you overload a computer? I had to shut down my system twice this morning. Twice. Do we get to hit a reset button on our systems, on our physical bodies? No, we don't. So we need to handle it a little bit differently than we actually do a computer. So then there's the release tools. And the release tools is all about a power pack for releasing stress, anxiety, and anger. So let's dig into this one a little bit. Nature is clever. It's so clever that it gives us a whole range of human tools for calming, soothing, and relieving stress and anxiety. They can be used 24 hours a day to soothe you, to calm you, and to restore balance. And they are completely free of charge. We're going to have to wait for these ones. Okay, the fuel tool. So your inbuilt guide to mind, body, and nourishment. So one of the biggest game changers for me was changing the way I eat, learning what foods I was allergic to that didn't serve me. And there are so many ways I can unofficially walk you through this before you go and spend money with a naturopath or with somebody that can do this testing for you. You know, it starts off with elimination diet, and I did my own version of that based on what I can and can't eat. And some of them are big. I mean, dairy's in a lot of food, a lot of food. And pork was one of my favorite meats beforehand, but I was allergic to these things without knowing. So they were having an impact on my body. So for me right now, my list is no dairy, no cabbage, no citrus, no melons, nothing spicy, mm, no pork. Oh, and the biggest one for me is no glucose. There is glucose in so much food. So those are my triggers right there, just to name a few of the things I cannot eat. Um, Interesting, isn't it? It's just a whole mix of things. And I can't eat red wine. Can't drink red wine. Ironically enough, my wines were ready to be bottled right before I got sick and I was in the hospital and I had to send my daughter to go and get them. But they were all black cherry, which is a form. Now I'm not sure if a fruit will fall as red wine because I haven't had any and I would need to verify that. But that's not what I can drink right now. But am I going to go back to things that are going to make me sick? No. I know my naturopath said this is just temporary. No. Why would I? I am feeling good. It takes 30 plus days for this to all be removed to your system. So humans burn a huge amount of fuel each day and need regular topping up with the right fuel at the right time, in the right quantity, in the right quality. The fuel tools tell you exactly what you need to stay energized, motivated, and healthy. You just have to learn how to use them. So that's all I had to do was learn how to make a few shifts. And the first couple weeks were hard. But putting some shredded chicken on a salad with some fresh strawberries and using an olive oil with basil or adding basil to my olive oil and then balsamic vinegar makes for an amazing salad. So I can mix things up and I can still enjoy hot dogs if I want because it's a summer treat, right? But with chicken or beef hot dogs. And I'm talking the most extreme here is salad or hot dogs, right? But the point is, even my bedtime snacks have changed from maybe apple crisp or ice cream, or even if it was frozen yogurt, all of that is dairy. So now it's a plate of strawberries. Now it's a can of pineapple. None of that's gonna hurt me. Okay. None of this is gonna hurt you. This is all gonna help you as hard as it might be. Is it nice to see myself in a dress and notice how the shape has changed? Absolutely. Is it nice to feel my energy come back? It is. And what works for me might not work for you, right? This is why I do offer my 28-day Kickstart nutrition program because we do elimination of gluten, sugar, and dairy. and we do that elimination for 28 days. And you can fine tune what works and what doesn't work for you. Um, and you're not doing this alone, because that's the hardest part, is doing this alone. I'm to the point now where I can go through recipe books and eliminate what I can't have. But it's still a bit of a process. As soon as I'm better and I can go to the store and buy what I want, I'm going to buy some things to make healthy snacks and healthy desserts, because that seems to be my sweet spot, literally. But in the meantime, bring on the dates. Seriously, I'll eat raw dates. I'll eat peppermints. It just looks different. And I've been sharing some of these. Excuse me. I've been sharing some of these gizmo on my TikToks and social feeds, where you can see. Sorry, we're having a real life moment here. Shh, 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 shh. Gizmo, stop. Sorry. He's cute and he's adorable, but he's trying to protect me, right? He's trying to do his job, just like our body tries to do their job. Okay, so I am starting to see a difference with all of this. So why would I go back? Because these tools help us stay happy, healthy, and loving to ourselves and loving to each other. And that is key. Oh, that was the wrong one. I skipped. Okay, so we talked about the fuel tools. Sorry, that was exactly what we need to stay energized, motivated, healthy, and you just need to learn how to use them. But you don't need to do this alone, because I promise you that is going to be too hard if you do this alone. All right, what's next? The connect tools. And this is your key to being vibrant and in healthy relationships. So as humans, we need good connections with ourselves and with each other and with family. Family, friends, community, nature. Good connections are so vital to our well-being that we have a whole range of these tools I'm going to tap into to help you connect and have a a happy, let's try this again, a happy, healthy, and loving relationship with both ourselves and to each other. So let's just highlight those tools again so you can learn a little bit more what they are. So this is all about the human toolbox, and right now we're just highlighting what these look like. So, the human toolbox, the human brain, that's the control tool. The powerful senses, so your gut and your health and your senses, those are your input tools. Okay. Your emotional backup system is your backup tool. The power pack for releasing stress, anxiety, and anger is your release tool. Your inbuilt guide to mind body nourishment is your fuel tool. And that last one we talked about, your key to vibrant, healthy relationships, is your connect tool. So, in order to make a switch in your life, in order to go from the place that you're at to the place that you want to be, we need a switch list. Okay. And I am going to give you right now a list that you're going to either want to avoid or add to your life to help you switch things around. And we're going to start with the 4 tools that I would like you to avoid first and foremost. And we're going to start there, and then we're going to tap into the other ones, because this is where the power of change happens. So the list of tools that I want you to avoid: alcohol, sugar, and caffeine, as much as you can. Actually, I forgot to mention, because this is such a blur to me, that it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I went to make a coffee and I made it twice. Neither case did I like it at all. I dumped it out and I made a tea. I'm like, forget this. I've had 1 coffee since. Maybe because I've had to switch things up a little bit and my almond cream has changed. And a few things have changed because of the food or the glucose in it. But I got rid of coffee for the most part. I'm drinking tea, and I started today drinking tea. One of the things that's hard for me too is there's no lemon in my water. Citrus doesn't work for me. So when we're avoiding things, think of what works and what doesn't work. So sugar, caffeine, and alcohol Let's try to avoid that right now when you're going through change, when you're trying to grow into that next version of you. Going to bars, getting overtired. So rest is best. And I did a lot of resting. And certain people, you're going to have certain people in your network that are going to help you grow and glow. And you're going to have certain people where you feel like you are landing on deaf ears from and you're not getting any inspiration or growth, or they simply don't know how to help you. Or maybe they're negative Nellies. They don't look at life as the cup being half full, and that's exactly what you need right now. So those are the avoidance list. Those are not what I would put on your switch list unless you're looking to make, I would take them off your list right now and work towards a permanent change in those areas or limiting those things in your life. Thank goodness I can still have sugar, but I don't have much. And the way I'm having it, so for instance, I'm using real maple syrup in my breakfast smoothie because the protein powder I have right now until I order a new one is disgusting. I'll be honest. I normally use, I like to use Melaleuca. I've been using Melaleuca for years. I just need to circle back and do my research now. I had my husband just go to the store and pick me up a small one before I could put my order in because my order was on backup and I just had my vitamins and supplements come in. But instead I want to switch things around. So I know what I like. And because I didn't like this other protein powder, I added pure maple syrup. That is a healthy exchange. Okay. Those are some of the things that you can do to make some small shifts. So let's talk about your switch list. I think this is awesome. I'm going to sit there and say, I think this is awesome. First thing, talk to a friend. Many people find this to be helpful. A friend, a coach, find somebody to talk to and to guide you through this journey. You cannot do this alone. Talk to a healthcare professional. They find somebody that you can connect with, somebody with empathy and understanding. And I want to say somebody who isn't afraid to mention that they too have had moments. They too grow through things because that's the person that you want to be working with. Not only do they get it because they've walked a mile in your shoes, and that mile doesn't have to be identical, right? It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but you and I both know 100% that if your coach isn't willing to talk about what they've gone through themselves, how can you be so sure they're going to be able to support you with the right guidance? Because nobody is unscathed in this world with the ups and downs that happen. It's our attitude that makes the difference, right? Peer counseling or exchange listening. So find somebody that you can back and forth with. You can listen to them, they can listen to you. Coaching heals. And you don't have to be the one always. I'm not saying you have the bandwidth to serve people right now, but that will help you if you do, right? Or find somebody else that you can bounce things ideas with, but you're listening to them, they're listening to you. Work on exercises that'll help you focus. Okay, so balancing, yoga, maybe Pilates, Tai Chi, anything that's slow and sturdy that keeps your mind focusing on the movement. Anything that'll help you relax and reduce stress, meditation, yoga, daydreaming, guided imagery. So there's so many of these. ASMR is a great part of guided imagery, and this is what I discovered when I was in the hospital. And she's like walking you through a salon appointment, the one I listened to on Calm, and you feel like you're there. You're actually literally choosing your candle, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and she brushes the hair off your face, and you're literally walking through a visualization, and it puts you in a completely different space. Journaling, writing in a notebook, download your thoughts. This for me was a big game changer. This one, the guided imagery, um, those were big, 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 big. Creative, affirming activities. So, coloring is a creative, affirming activities. There's a sense of completion. You're focusing on what you're doing. Painting is another one. And this one has so much that you can put in this space. Exercise, if you're able to, should be on your switch list. Just what does that look like for you? In April, it was running. In May, nothing. I miss exercise. I do. But with my head, it wasn't the right time or space for it, right? diet considerations, and this is where making the right changes to help you improve um, will make a big difference in your life. Using a light box. So a light box is just going to stimulate you with a little bit more vitamin D. It's going to bring in some of that sunshine vitamin and help you feel a little bit more energized or get outside. Okay. Extra rest. This is the time when you're going through something. Extra rest is the time and space that you need right now to help you heal. I did a lot of resting. Take time off from home and work responsibilities, which means you might need to ask for help. And that's okay. I had Tony doing so much around here when I couldn't. Hot packs, cold packs, either or, both. Attend a support group if you can, online, in person, whatever it looks like. Know that you're not alone. See your counselor. Again, that goes back to finding someone to connect with and to talk to and to be coached by. Do something normal like having a shower, washing your hair, shaving, going to work. The more you can keep in your normal routine, the more it's going to help you and create that routine. Check your medicines. Yeah. Get a medical check, get a medical opinion, get a second opinion. Okay. Call a hotline, call somebody and reach out. Surround yourself with people who are positive, affirming, and loving, but who are also real. Wear something that makes you feel good. This one's big. This one's really big. For me right now, it's all been about clothes for me. I just have a flowy top on and a pair of flowy jeans on that are cut capris. Um, it's all about been comfort from no, it's been all about comfort for me. And that's been super important because the last thing I want to do is fiddle and fuss or be in a state where I'm not comfortable at all. I love this one. Do something that makes you laugh. Listen to comedy, and that's changed for me. I now can't go to bed after watching a show. I need to watch a little bit of comedy just to laugh. Because music, I haven't been able to listen to music, but music is on my Switch list as well. Make a list of your accomplishments. Now, don't sit in the space of holding on to what you've done, but remind yourself of what you're capable of and what else is possible. Look through scrapbooks, photos, photo albums, do things that make you feel good. Um, Spend 10 minutes writing down everything good that you can think about. We talked about doing something that makes you laugh or smile. Do something special for someone else. Big. Get some little things done, whatever those little things are. Unloading the dishwasher? Great. That's a win. Doing a load of laundry? Great. Get your nails painted. Mine are not painted right now, but get your nails painted. Repeat positive affirmations. And you might need to go through some books and find some good ones. Gabrielle Bernstein, May Cause Miracles. She has a lot of great affirmations in there. There are little books that have affirmations in there. And I actually offer a list of 21 affirmations and gratitudes. If you pop into my website, www.freshapproachfitness.com, there's a link there that you can hit, and I will email you free affirmations that's good to get you started. I promise you. It's a good starting point. Focus on and appreciate what is happening right now. Take a warm bath. And I said this before, I'm going to say it again. Listen to music, go for a drive, go to the beach. Those are some of the items on my Switch list. So I would love to hear from you. What would you add? From today's episode, what is your biggest takeaway? We do have those tools in our toolbox, and you can hear when I went over that Switch list how those tools are different for everybody. I'm happy that I am growing through this. I know that there is beauty on the other side. I too have had moments, and I know you have too. I know the importance of attitude, and I know that every single time there's turbulence, there's beauty. And my friends, I'm here to help support you as well. So thank you so much for giving me some of your time and space today. I really, really appreciate it. This is going up on YouTube. This is also going up into the audio versions, and this is episode 150, tools in your toolbox and your switch list. Thank you so much for listening, and I will have my contact information in both the audio and the video components where you can reach out to me anytime. Make it a great day.